Welcome in. This is the Second Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman. Tonight we are recapping the BMW Championship, and joining me to do just that, Greg DuCharme is here. Gregors.
Rick, happy to be here. What a week it was. Eventually we we get the result we expected, but boy, that does not tell the story of this day at all. This was quite a day watching golf.
Yeah, we crowned the overnight leader, who was the heavy favorite to win this golf tournament heading into Sunday, but it was never easy, and it never is easy, but we will give him his flowers because Wyndham Clark gets this thing across the finish line. Gregor's 5-shot lead going into the final round, but it was sketchy. He was 3 over through 10 as the rest of the leaderboard was trying to track him down, has tracked him down, applying all amounts of pressure. Your thoughts right after the turn when he has coughed up 3 shots, please.
Well, yeah, it's like deja vu was my thoughts. I'm thinking about what happened at the U.S. Open, and it's just not going his way, and he's letting everybody back in there. But at that time, he still had he had a 2-shot lead, or was it there was a point where he was over par. Maybe after the bogey at 10, it went down to 1, or somebody may have tied him up at that point. But it just felt like the chasers still weren't doing enough. They were making moves and then making bogeys, and making moves and making bogeys, and it was just keeping him at arm's length enough to, make it come down to the end like it did. And then all of a sudden it's deja vu again, just like he did at the US Open. He steps up when he has to, hits a couple of big shots. The guy's just tough. That was my thought coming into the day was, if this goes south for Wyndham, he's not going to completely melt away. He'll hang around, and you never know what he's going to do down the stretch. And it actually happened that way, where this could have, for a lesser player, not by much, anybody. I mean, this probably could have happened to even better players than Wyndham Clark, and they have a start like this, and it just completely melts away. And he hangs tough and birdies the last 3 holes to win.
Just as Rory McIlroy is just in full gallop and has applied all the pressure in the world, Wyndham Clark birdies 16. He birdies 17. He birdies 18. The putter gets going once again, and a 5-shot lead to start the day ends as a 3-shot victory. So it feels like a big win, but you said it, Greg. This was a guy who he experienced a little bit of turbulence yesterday. He was 36 holes bogey free, and on the 37th hole of his opening round yesterday, he made double and opened the door, but he had clawed both of those shots back by the time he stepped on the 8th tee, and then he made an eagle there. He has been resilient every step of the way in this tournament, and really every step of the way this year.
It has been incredibly impressive, especially what he's done since the Byron Nelson. I mean, you're looking at a player now in his last 10 tournaments. He's got 8 top 15s, 3 wins. And I think it's last 10 tournaments. So he's got 6 top 5s in that stretch. Really impressive run of golf, which has extended now past a little hot streak. And, now you're getting into this is a pretty darn good year. It's half the season is phenomenal play, which is a great thing. So this was just emblematic of the streakiness of Wyndham Clark, because he didn't make a single putt outside of 5 feet until the 16th hole. He makes a 16-footer, a 13-footer, and a 17-footer to close it. The guy is just so volatile, I guess would be the word, and it's in a good way. He gets red hot and can get ice cold, but there aren't very many guys that run as hot as Wyndham Clark. I mean, Scotty and Rory, I guess you have to say that they do. But it just feels like when he is hot, he is a freight train.
The highly contested player of the year debate has 5 legitimate claims at it. in my opinion. However, Wyndham Clark may have just taken it because now Wyndham Clark's resume includes not only 6 top 10 finishes this year, but a win at the Byron Nelson, a major championship victory at the US Open, and now a playoff victory at the BMW Championship. Is it over if Scotty wins the FedEx Cup? If Matt Fitzpatrick wins the FedEx Cup, or Cam Young or Chris Goddard, maybe, but has Wyndham just iced it?
He has not iced it, but he is the front runner.
All right.
In my view, look, I'm a big proponent of the year aspect is a really important part in this, right? Player of the year. And so if I were voting, which I'm not, players vote. If I were voting, I would probably put a little less stock into the tournaments that you won than we have in the past traditionally. And looking at the way that it's usually decided, it's the guy with a major and another win, the guy with the most wins, the guy with a major, the most impressive victory. But that doesn't necessarily tell the story of the whole year. And so that puts Scotty Scheffler squarely in the mix. And he was the favorite, in my view, coming into this week because start to finish, he has been the best player this year. But now with Wyndham Clark and this performance, which, you know, the top 5 last week and the win this week in the playoffs, you're starting to really stretch this hot streak. And it looked like for a while, well, he played really well for a 5-week period. Now, all of a sudden, that's a 10-week period. And it changes my view. You're getting closer to the whole year counting in this. And having more wins and having a major than Scotty, I think it puts you as the front runner. Now, if you're tied in win total and you said 6 top 10s for Wyndham, they've all come in a very short period of time. Scotty has 11 top 5s. So if he ends up with a 12th and a third win, then I think he would clip Wyndham. And there'd be a lot more discussion if Matt Fitzpatrick wins next week or Goddard wins next week. That would make things very interesting.
Yeah, it really would. Now, I want to zoom out just a little bit here because Wyndham Clark's career is starting to take real shape here. This is now a man with 6 victories on the PGA Tour. 2 of them are major championships. I want to read to you where he has won his golf tournaments, Greg. Quail Hollow Club, LACC, Pebble Beach, Bellerive, Shinnecock, and the illustrious TPC Craig Ranch. Maybe one weaker than the others, but that is a murderer's row of venues.
Yeah, it really is. But you think about even the one TPC Craig Ranch, which stands out among the rest as, a weaker venue. You had Scotty Scheffler and Siwoo Kim, who's been one of the best players all year on tour this year, right there with you. And you got into a shootout with 2 of the best players in the game, 2 of the players with more top 10s than anybody else on tour this season. You get into a shootout with them and go shoot 60 in the final round to win. That's extremely impressive. So considering that, I think that it's a clean sweep, and all of his victories are very impressive. They are all phenomenal wins. So having 2 majors in there and 3 other major championship venues, right? Quail hosts majors. Bellerive has hosted majors, and Pebble hosts. In fact, it's going to host the U.S. Open next year. I know it was in very different conditions at Pebble when he won, and it was only a 54-hole tournament. But nonetheless, this is a big-time player and a big-game hunter with a little bit of maybe like Brooks Koepka vibes. I know he's only got 2 majors to Brooks's 5, but, big, tough guy winning on tough tests kind of a situation here. I think that's what we're looking at with Wyndham.
Yeah, he's also only played 20 major championships. So he's won 10% of his major championships, which, that'd be a pretty good rate to go for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, 10%'s not bad. That's not quite what, that's one every 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad if you can get the job done. Wyndham Clark back in the winner's circle. He is going to be at the Tour Championship next week, trying to button up what has been an already amazing year. He'll probably be one of the 4 or 5 favorites to win next week. Certainly one of the favorites will be Rory McIlroy. And there are many lenses you can look at this week through for Rory, Greg, because he opened up with a 64. I did not think he had his best stuff on Friday, but he got it under par with a 69. Goes out, shoots a 65 yesterday. And through 11 holes today, he was 2 under. And he was really the man to take this away from Wyndham Clark. And he hit a good shot into 16 that he wasn't able to make a birdie on. And then the disaster at 17, the gettable par 5 that he ends up making bogey on, crushes his chances of stealing this from Wyndham.
Yeah, he plays the par 5s 2 under for the week, which, I think there were a couple of mistakes on the par 5s. The one on 17 today, hard to call out a specific mistake, but he hit it in the creek on the right there in round 1 or round 2. It must have been I don't know. One of those days he laid up into the creek. He had 260s in the left rough, and he's hitting an iron shot into the creek. But just to give you an idea, so he plays the par 5s 2 under for the week. Wyndham plays him 7 under. Yeah, that's a 5-shot difference from the guy that wins, and it is a unexpected thing for Rory McIlroy. I would expect Rory McIlroy in his element to have a huge advantage on these par 5s. They're both over 600 yards, and he is one of the guys that can reach them every day, and not everybody in the field can. So it's a big opportunity to separate yourself, and Rory didn't do that this week. That being said, very impressive that Rory was even in contention, even on TV on Sunday, considering the way he played last week. And even the way he spoke coming into the week, it was, he didn't sound like he figured it out. It's like, I got going in a direction. I got kind of took my game. I was lost, and I figured out where I wanted to go. And I took 2-3 days stepping in that direction. And now he's tied for the lead on the back 9 on Sunday in the final group. So I'm more impressed with the performance from Rory than I am anything else. Also, to play out of the rough as much as he did, Rick, he had 9 fairways on the weekend. And
on the weekend,
right? 5 and 4 over those 2 days, and he shoots 65, 69. That's very impressive in my book.
Yeah, Rory McIlroy obviously did not play well in Memphis. He rarely does. He was coming off a month of time off between the Open Championship and the first playoff event. Much better week. This week, he's going to finish in a solo 3rd position, Greg, and he's going to go to East Lake, where he's won the Tour he's won the FedEx Cup, I should say, 3 times. It's a golf course that allows him to lean into his best strengths, but we saw it out there. It's that new little move in his rehearsal. I don't know exactly what that is, whether it's a feel, whether it's a position, but you see him doing it. You heard him talk about it. That was kind of the Band-Aid that they put on for this week.
Yeah, and that's more than a Band-Aid. It's a really big thing to be working on. He talked about the position of his right hand being on top of the club halfway back, or when the club's parallel to the ground. And that's a face control thing. So when the palm of your hand points, out perpendicular or parallel to the ground, that means that the club face is going to be very open. When the palm is pointed down to the ground, the club face is going to be closed, as many would say square. I consider that to be a square position, although old school instruction would say that's closed. And that just means you have to rotate it less on the way down. And if Rory gets that face a little open, he has a tendency of coming from the inside a little bit, and you're going to hit huge blocks to the right, or try to recover that and hit huge hooks to the left. So we got control of the club face, And he's now able to make a full pass at it without recovering the face in the downswing. And that makes a huge difference in consistency and eliminates a lot of the timing that is required in a swing that has a lot of face rotation. So it is a quick fix because he did it in 3 days, but it's, it's a very important kind of a key fundamental aspect, the face control angle. And it clearly worked in a lot of regards.
It really did. Mentioned Rory McIlroy in third, mentioned Wyndham Clark in first. So there's somebody in the middle there, but there's also somebody in the chat that I need to mention. That is, of course, the GOAT, as I would say.
American Mike
dropping a 50 burger on us. Says, Wyndham winning damn tourneys. My last pick for Splash, one and done, 130th and 243rd places. It's pool time, boys. Thank you, American Mike. And that's right, Greg. The one and done is over. Someone named, I just had it up here. Dun, dun, dun. JQ Betts won 100 grand.
Woo! All right. JQ Betts, something tells me this isn't his first rodeo.
This ain't his first rodeo.
That's a big one, though. That is he just won a major. He won a FedEx Cup.
Mike Foreman, who's sporting the second cut logo, won 7,500, finished in second place there. $25 million was the total to win our one and done this year.
Oh, it took 25 million to win.
25 million.
Wow. That's astronomical. I don't think, what did Scotty win? What was Scotty's total prize purse last year? I'd have to look that up.
Probably less than 25.
Yeah, I know. But you never know with him. Sometimes it creeps up there. But a lot of that is bonuses as well. I'm pulling that up as we speak. Let's see. Official. We're going to official money.
We're going official.
So this year, Scotty's made 20.5 million.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
Okay, then last year he might have made 25 million.
27 million.
Oh my God.
But that includes the Tour Championship, which
we don't.
So last year that was a $40 million purse. So it skews the official money. But in 24, Scotty made 29 million in official money. So if you think about what his resume has looked like the last couple of years with the number of wins and top fives and seconds, imagine that's your one and done resume.
Oh my God.
What
if it was like, hey, you can pick every week or you can just have Scotty's year. You'd have to consider just taking Scotty's year.
Yeah, probably wiser to just take Scotty's year. I mean, there are going to be weeks with 0.
Right.
But to do that with a different player every week is ridiculously impressive.
So third place was the username is Tiger Woods 1. Thank you, Eldrick. As we know, I'm sure that is the big cat. He does follow us, and I'm sure that's him in our one.
Yeah, fanatical second cut fan, and also a huge one and done.
Loves the one
advocate.
That man sitting in solo second on the leaderboard for the BMW Championship is one Patrick Cantlay. And this was a good week, Greg, by any stretch of the imagination. 67, 65, 66, and 68, but an active, very active scorecard on Sunday. I'm going to go through this here because his front nine, he only made 2 pars. He bogeyed 2, 6, and 9. He birdied 3, 4, 7, and 8. And now he's very much in this golf tournament. And he birdies 10 to get to 2 under for the day. He doubles 11. He does finish strong with birdies on 16, 17, and 18. So let's start here. Very good week for Patrick Cantlay, one of his best weeks of the year. He moves from 43rd in the FedEx Cup standings to 19th, and he will be in the Tour Championship next week.
He needed like a 5th or better.
Yeah.
In my projections this week, he needed a 5th or better. That ended up being pretty close. Although being the 30th man, there's like a huge range of wiggle room because the points separated quite a bit. But that being said, he needed a top finish like this. He didn't have as much wiggle room as it looks like, and he stepped up. He did it in a way, we talked about him in the fantasy portion on Tuesday. He was a guy that I really liked this week. I wish I had him on my grid. I can't believe I didn't, but I was a big proponent of his this week, in part because he's played great in BMW championships, and in part because he's been hitting the ball great throughout this year. And that's exactly what he did this week. He led in tee to green pretty much all week. He had the best tee to green round on Friday. He led at that point, and he never looked back. Gained over 13 strokes tee to green, but lost 3.7 putting. He lost 3.7 strokes putting and finished second. Oh, it was so frustrating. Yet Sunday it wasn't really a putting story. He lost strokes putting, but it's like you touch the lead on 10. He makes birdie on 10. Wyndham hadn't gotten to 10 yet. He's one back. And then his second shot finds the water on 11, and he makes double immediately. And then he misses good looks at, he misses some looks at 12, 13, and 14, and bogeys 15. It's like, and then he birdies his last 3 holes. There were a lot of shots throughout this week that you could point to for Cantlay. I look at the overall putting performance, though.
Well, yes, I agree with you, and there are a lot of positives. But if you look at the scorecard, if you look at the leaderboard, wow, 4 rounds in the 60s. Patrick Cantlay finished solo second. That's great. If you watch the golf tournament in real time, it felt like, and Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, it felt like that when he basically got to the lead after 10, he immediately doubled and played himself out of it. He bogeyed 15 and he was completely out of the tournament. And then he birdied 16, 17, and 18 to fall just short again.
Yes, it looks like if you're following him, like I have been following him for a while, because there's been a lot of good signs. But it has looked like this year he is doing everything he can to not be on TV.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, does he have like a fear of being on television?
I want to finish as high as I can without ever hitting a shot that golf fans see.
Oh my gosh, he sees the camera crew drop back to his group. Quick, hit it in the water.
Then he plays the rest of the back 9. No one's watching. I mean, he could make birdie on 16 and no one sees it. Make birdie 17. Maybe they'll catch the putt, right? But they're not going to see any shots. And then he hit an incredible. I mean, you did see him on camera, but that's what it feels like. And I've had a lot of laughs about that this year, because it's like, he's right there and he eliminates himself. Self-destruct. Happens constantly. I do think there's a lot of good signs, and that's obviously not true. It just feels that way. The putting stroke looks totally different. So speaking of that, right, you don't see a lot of Cantlay on TV because he's always avoiding it.
Yeah, it looks like he's using a new putter too, and it does look different, but
it's not a good looking stroke.
It's not. It's really not. But you can't deny the way he's hitting the ball. He's just absolutely knocking the cover off it right now.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's amazing that he's made it to the Tour Championship, and I think he's also played his way onto the President's Cup team.
I think he has as well.
Not top 6, but he's the guy you gotta take, Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah, did just enough to get the job done, in my opinion. Well, we had, what was the final number? Did we have 3 guys play themselves in? Woodlands, Cantlay, and Fire.
Yeah.
Bobby Mack.
Yep.
So we had 3 guys play themselves in, 3 guys play themselves out. I'll hit on Gary Woodland here, Greg, because he's been in the heat of the battle since Thursday. He was one of those opening. There was a 5-way tie after the opening round, and he got shot out of a cannon today. He was 3 under through 5, and he was the first one to start applying pressure to Wyndham Clark and started to shrink that 5-shot lead immediately. He makes bogey on 7, but claws it back on 8. Bounce back. And then he did something exceedingly rare on the tee box of 9. One of the best drivers on the planet, one of the most accomplished ball strikers we've seen in a decade, a guy who's been nearly flawless all week long. Cold tops one. It lands 15 yards in front of him and rolls into the creek about 90 yards in front of the tee. And it is just like a shock wave went through my body when I saw that.
Yeah, we call that a rip top.
Just a rip top.
It's so funny because I was talking, I don't think I said it here, but I was talking to somebody about the golf course. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of water in play. I mean, some of it's not in play. Like there's a creek on 10 that's 50 yards short of the green. There's a creek on 9 right in front of the tee that's not in play. And this is like the difference for Gary Woodland. Mm-hmm. He rip topped it into the creek. That is not in play. But I guess it is. So after that, he doesn't make another birdie. He pars the rest of the holes, and he was at 14 under. He's 1 back. He made birdie on 8 to get to 1 back. And it's like, okay, this is really happening. At that time, he was 3 under for the round with 4 birdies. And it looked like Gary of the first 2 rounds. All of a sudden, he's giving himself looks. He's hitting it close. The iron play is a whole lot better. And then on the back 9, he just didn't give himself any chances, which, is probably frustrating, but really impressive week for Gary on a place where he had the 36-hole lead in the PGA back in 2018 and struggled on the weekend. I think this was, well, the scores are he shot 1 better this time around. Getting into the Tour Championship for the first time since 2019 is a really big deal for Gary Woodland.
Yeah, he was pretty emotional about it afterwards. So he is going to move in and he's going to have a chance at East Lake. I can only remember, well, the first thing that popped into my head is the one other example of a guy doing almost exactly this. And it was at Riviera 5 or 6 years ago because it was Harold Varner III.
Yes.
I think he birdied 9 to take the lead or tie the lead. He stood on the tee box of 10, cold topped it. They did not catch it on TV. They ended up showing it like 2 hours later on the broadcast because they were getting eviscerated on social media. And I think he shot a 40 on the back, disappeared, never to be heard from again.
Which was, he might have topped a couple in his day.
He might have.
For some reason, I feel like he topped 2 at 10 at Riviera.
Yeah, he might have.
I don't know why that's in my head. You'd have to fact check me on that. But anyway, for Gary to come back and play the back 9 and even par, I think is a good sign because that can really shake you up. But he kept it together. He's so impressive. His ball striking is really fun to watch. And it's a great week. Not the week of the year for him, obviously, but a golf course that's perfect for him. And he stepped up and performed, and he's heading to East Lake.
He's heading to East Lake. Sorry, my camera does this thing where if I make the wrong motion,
it zooms all the way in.
Yeah, but I can control it like this and get it to zoom. Now I think if I.
Oh, that's fancy.
I got to turn that off. It's very.
That's not a laptop camera, is it?
No, it's not. It's an external. Yeah. It's a big
very
production
fancy
over here. Also in a tie for 4th with Gary Woodland were Colin Morikawa and Chris Gotterup. Colin has won this year. He won at Pebble Beach. Chris Gotterup has won 3 times this year. They are both very much and have been very much punching their tickets to East Lake, so no worries there. But anything on those 2 that you would like to cover?
Well, Colin Morikawa has been putting very well lately. Very well. It's like he keeps putting up 2 strokes at least on the greens. And you would think, we said for a long time, if Colin Morikawa is a 0 putter, he's going to win. And he's been picking up 2 strokes putting for the last 6 weeks. It's been really impressive. And he's doing it again this week. And then all of a sudden today, it was a strange day for him because he missed 4 putts from 6 to 8 feet that were big moments. 6 to 8 footers aren't guarantees. It's not like when we used to talk about Scotty Scheffler and he would miss 3 footers. And that's the difference. 6 to 8 feet players miss, but he missed 4 of them in the same round on a Sunday, and they were all crucial in the tournament. But then he made a couple of 10 to 15 footers that were either for par or a couple of them were for birdie. So it was a very strange day for Morikawa. All in all, a good fight, another good finish, as the typical situation is for Collin Morikawa.
Yeah. Let me get you down to the bubble here. As mentioned, the 3 that got in, Gary Woodland, Patrick Cantlay, Robert McIntyre, they displaced Kurt Kitayama, Bud Cauley, and Ricky Fowler. And maybe that name right there, Greg, is the one that had the most disappointing week. He came in 30th, and for 58, maybe 60 holes, I thought he played well enough to contend. He hit some amazing shots, but he made a double on 1 today. He made a double on 2 on Friday, and he made a double on both 9 and 18 on Thursday. So he made 4 doubles this week, along with plenty of missed opportunities along the way. The margins are small. You could say it for a lot of guys. Hey, this goes his way, if that goes his way. But Ricky Fowler felt like there were 20 things that went against him this week.
Yes. And you don't know where that comes from. He talked about the need to keep your focus last week. And it seemed like coming down the stretch in Memphis, he did lose his focus. And I think the heat had something to do with that. But perhaps this has just been a really long season for Ricky, and he lost a little bit of steam. Coming down the stretch today, he had those could have been significant moments. 16 and 18, he makes bogeys, but at that point, you're really pressing and you're up against it, and it's so early. It's hard to really get into that groove. So I think it was close for Ricky, and I mean, man, those 4 doubles. If you could get 8 shots back, that's how close you are to a top 10 kind of performance, which I think I'm in agreement with you. It looked like a top 10, top 15 caliber performance from Ricky Fowler, but a couple costly mistakes.
Yeah, he can hit it so high. He was getting some long irons land so softly, and he was running circles around some of the guys that he was playing with, and then all of a sudden he'd fall apart and put a big number on the board, and it just would completely derail him. Last guy before go ahead. Do you want to hop in there?
No, I was just gonna. He played from the fairway a lot too. Normally you see rounds like that, and it's like, well, it's just all day you're battling in the rough, and a mistake's going to happen. But he had plenty of fairways. He had his chances for sure.
Let's talk about number 1 in the world, Scotty Scheffler, before we move on here. So last we talked, he had a 72 on Thursday and a 65 on Friday. He closed with a pair of 68s. And Greg, it was a little bit of a slow start today. He bogeyed both 4 and 5, but he chipped in for eagle on 8, and then he rattled off 3 birdies late. He ends up finishing in a tie for 12th, and he'd been dealing with a little bit of an illness. I think he said it was hand, foot, and mouth disease. That's what I think he said afterwards.
I didn't hear him say that. I knew that it was. That is not a fun one.
I will double check that while you discuss his game. I will figure out his health situation. But otherwise, he's obviously going to be the heavy favorite next week.
Yep, and he should be. There's nothing broken in his game. It was a very peculiar start to his tournament. And the illness clearly had an effect on him because he just wasn't himself. And I think he got a little frustrated after that. Maybe there are some moments where you're pressing. On Saturday, he had a little run going. He had made birdie at 5, 8, 9, and 11. And then he missed long left on 12 and hit a poor flop shot and just started slamming his club around. Really displaying some frustration. I believe at that point he was thinking he was in the tournament. He's making a run at this thing. He was 6 under at that point, and who knows? He make 3 more birdies down the stretch, you get to 9 under heading into the final round, and things are potentially very different. Wyndham ends up going on a huge run, which changes things, but he was probably pretty close and on track to his target. And that was just a outburst that is unnecessary for anybody. And I've always thought Scotty Scheffler is the most, like, I love what he is as a role model. And there are very few holes you can poke in Scotty Scheffler. Most of the frustration he shows is more a sign of competition and fire to me. But I thought that situation on 12 Saturday was a little overblown. And I think that he should have been penalized for that. Not under the current rules, but I think that kind of behavior needs to be penalized in the future.
Yeah, we've called out clown behavior in the past, and I didn't think it was full clown, but I thought it was like very clown adjacent. It was very like, what are you doing?
I mean, it's like he slams his club 5 times.
Yeah,
what?
It's like we got it after the first
with the grip.
2. Yeah.
Like, you could be mad all you want. Show your hand gestures. Get upset. Cover your mouth and swear. I don't care. You don't need to be slamming the club on the ground. Definitely not more than once. Not
and very becoming.
I love the guy.
I know. If it's coming from you, it's serious. Not very becoming of our number 1 player in the world. However, here we go. So Paul Hodowanik of the PGA Tour spoke with Scotty, asked him about it. So Scotty Scheffler said he was dealing with hand, foot, and mouth disease all week. He has blisters on his hands and throat. Said it made it very difficult to grip the club, particularly early in the week. Said if he was smarter / less stubborn, he would have withdrawn.
I wouldn't have. I mean, you don't want to be withdrawing from a playoff event. That's not good for anybody, but I would have understood a withdrawal because of hand, foot, and mouth. That's not a fun thing. It's not fun for kids, but it's apparently a lot worse for adults. And you get that. It is not good. So now you understand why I didn't talk to the media after Thursday's round. He shouldn't be talking to the media. You don't want to be spreading that around.
Yeah, seriously, keep that to yourself. Okay, before I reveal the grid, which is beautiful in its own way, and before we update the one and done and look forward to next week, is there anything else related to the BMW Championship that you would like to talk about?
I think we covered it all. I mean, I'd shout out to Robert McIntyre. Great final round. Kind of came from out of nowhere and gets into the Tour Championship. I give him a lot of credit for that. But other than that, we can move forward.
Mina, there is a beautiful grid lurking just on the other side of your click. Could you please reveal it?
Oh, yikes.
Wait, give us the beautiful one. Is this?
Yeah, that can't be it.
Okay, well, Ricky Fowler over Robert McIntyre, no. Burns over Ludwig, no. Knapp over Wyndham Clark, definitely not. Top 20s, no.
Alex Fitzpatrick shot 66 on Thursday.
Yeah.
And had nothing the rest of the week.
Finished in a tie for 44th.
This should have been a play there.
Jake Knapp shot a 67 and a 65 this week, but he also shot a 72 and 76. He made where is it? Here it is. He made a quad on 3 yesterday, and then I think he was about ready to go.
Yeah, that's it. Brutal. That's a sign of. I mean, that's a hard golf course. There's a lot of separation. You hit bad shots, you could make a big number.
You know what he did? So he hit it. It's a par 3. He hit his tee shot in the bunker, hit his bunker shot over the green into the water, and then this is kind of rare. Chose to replay it from that same spot, played it from the bunker again, I guess, as opposed to going back to the drop zone. And it wasn't much easier after that. He didn't even get out of the bunker.
No, I mean, you're dropping it in the bunker. You got a tough decision to make there. Dropping it even from your knee in the bunker, it's very rare to get a good break. So that's a tough call. But your alternative is going 50 yards away
Right.
Yeah, it's a tough call too. So, yeah, I didn't see the situation, so I can't assess that. But most of the time when you see triples on par threes like that the triple comes from hitting it over the green and then into the water. If you hit it in the water the first time, that usually ends up in double.
Yeah, you can make it double.
Right.
Yeah. Now, the final week of the one and done. Mina, have we had a chance to update the standings? I think we probably have. Let's see. Okay. Why did I think you had somebody else, Greg?
Who'd you think I had? Cantlay?
I thought you had Cantlay.
Yeah, I should have. I wish I did. I loved Cantlay this week. I loved Xander too. For very similar styles coming in, and Xander just had nothing. So this was my year. Between two guys, one steps up, and I picked the other one.
Xander made his own quad on a par 3. Also, or no, not also. Jake Knapp made his on 3. Xander made his on 6. 177,500. I got 106,000 from Ricky Fowler. Mina got 153,000 from Sam Burns, and Mark did it 1.3 million from Rory McIlroy to take the crown.
Boy, that well, congratulations to Mark. What a season. And I guess it was a good time to play Rory McIlroy. He loved saving him. He saved him, and he stepped up for him.
13.1 million is the final tally for Mark. Mina, 8.8. She texted me and said, I beat you. Ha, 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 ha. 8.4 million for me, 5.1 for Greg, and I think we can just burn these results as soon as this show's over.
I'm sorry, what's that? What results?
Don't even know what you're talking about.
One and done. I'm done with that. All right. Done with that season. On to next year. I'm
being told Mark Immelman is 5 minutes away. He wants to come gloat. Do we have to wait for him to do that? We could let him gloat on Tuesday. Could let him gloat on Tuesday. Because there's no one and done. So we could have a season review. Oh boy. Oh boy. We can go through all his picks. Well done, Mark.
Hello, boys. How are we doing?
We are toasting you, Mark Immelman, the winner of the one and done. We have just played for He's a Jolly Good Fellow. We have attached a crown to your emoji here.
I need to get a picture of this.
Oh, sure.
This is so important to me. I have to memorialize this for posterity's sakes. So it's going to go on Instagram as soon as we're done here. Greg, that was
isn't that just lovely?
Greg, yes, that was an ugly face. That was an ugly face you made for my picture there.
On purpose.
Hey, okay, wait. I'd like to thank the Academy.
Yeah.
There were so many people that played an important role in this, and it's so meaningful. And you know what? Onwards and upwards. I'm just looking forward to the future. So what were the final rankings? How did you guys do this week?
We forgot.
We got 100 and some odd $1,000. So your final tally, Mark, what was it? 13.1, Mina? $13.1 million.
I mean, that's like Scotty Scheffler in Memphis or Wyndham Clark in St. Louis.
It's like it's kind of like the winner next year. Yeah. What is that? Is that winner next week gonna make 13 mil?
Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb right now. Rory wins by 5 next week. It's coming.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've already used them. You're lucky you don't have to make a pick next week.
Yeah, but I got Wyndham, and he's playing pretty well too. So why didn't we have like a standalone one and done next week?
Yeah, you would like that
for it all. For it all.
Well, who've you guys got left?
I don't think I have anybody in the field left.
You didn't need anybody in the field.
Okay, so now, because I was real busy. So please, I know other folks are watching, but help me recap who finished where. I know Wyndham won.
So Wyndham won. Cantlay finished second. Rory finished third.
Rory was third.
Yes.
Okay. It was manic at the end. I mean, the crowds were awesome today. It really, St. Louis showed out. And if the commissioner's watching, I need him to realize that, big metropolitan centers are a good idea, but the real fans are in spots that are other than New York and San Francisco and these kind of places, This was a great golf course, awesome fans, and they showed out en masse. And it was really fun to be a part of. And BMW, man, kudos. They were sensational as well.
You know what I noticed about the fans is that they were out early in the morning. It was like, first group out, and they've already lined the first hole like it's the President's Cup or the Ryder Cup. I was like, usually, they by noon everybody's in there and having fun or whatever. They were out early, and they showed out. I don't know how many people were out there for the week, but it looked like they did a nice job.
Well, from what I understand, they'd sold out tickets for today. And I will say, I mean, you won the call all entire week, Rick. From Thursday morning, there were great crowds out there. When I got out Thursday afternoon, I was surprised. And when I got there Friday morning, I actually so I went walking the course with my on-course people, and I was like, this feels like a major championship because it's a great golf course. And BMW, the way they activated this event with the bleachers and that whole area called the Ridge, they had stands along there that had patios, so people could stand out there and watch like 14 and 11 and 12. So it was really, really well done. It was a fun event to be a part of.
What would be cool for St. Louis in the future? There's been talk of the West Coast swing changing time of year.
Yeah.
And if that gets into the summertime, maybe the playoffs are on the West Coast. If the last event was in St. Louis, the gateway to the West
so we go.
And then you have West Coast playoffs. Yeah, you got to get through St. Louis to get to the West Coast.
Okay, but I'm confused now, Greg, because I've traveled to Fort Worth and there's a sign that says the gateway to the West. And then and then I come to St. Louis and I get the same thing. Huh? So which one actually is?
I don't know. Maybe I think the Arch isn't the Arch.
I think the Arch has always been. Yes, I think here's what happens. They play the last week is in St. Louis, and if you qualify for the playoffs, you have to go walk through the Arch. Everybody gets on a bus and they take them down to the Arch, and everybody has to walk through the gateway to the West.
All right.
The gateway Sounds good. To the West.
All
right. Well, that's it, Mark. Congratulations. Thanks for coming on and boasting.
Was that it? I mean, come on. Now I was expecting more adulation and such.
That's all you get, Mark. From
us. On Tuesday, we'll go through every pick each week and get what you were thinking.
I need to see Mina because she was all brave. She was all proud of her Sam Burns pick. Yeah. Yeah.
DJ Mina. That's perfect music.
DJ Mina.
She found that it's copyright free, so we're not gonna get dinged for this one.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So she can play it. All right. Okay. Tuesday, Tour Championship Mega Preview Pod. Until then, big thanks, producer Mina. She does all the hard work behind the scenes. Greg Immelman.
Greg Immelman. Okay then.
Greg DuCharme. Mark Immelman. I'm Rick Gehman. This is The Second Cut. Goodbye.